Welcome to Talk Comics. I really appreciate you being here. David Flores, you're the illustrator and co-creator of Do Not Disturb, that's coming out next week, the 14th, with Invader Comics. We had Jared on, your partner, who helped, co-writer or wrote the story and co-created, right?
Yeah.
And you're the illustrator. But way back on episode 48, that's not way back, but a few episodes ago. But before we dive into all that, tell us about yourself.
Wow, where do I start? There's like
Well, I need to know
so
where you
much.
were born, your social security number, your mother's maiden
Okay.
name.
Well, we got a lot to cover there. So originally from New York,
Which part?
and from Long Island,
Okay.
and
You.
grew up, was raised there, and then went to University of Miami for college, and lived in Atlanta for a little while. Got married, actually met my wife in UM, and we moved to California. When I moved out here, really kind of focused on writing. I mean, I have a full-time job. I work as an editor, post-production, but I also, when we came out here, came out to screenwrite. That was really my main focus. I'd done that. I had some success with that. I won a couple of screenwriting contests, and then I'd gotten a manager and an agent, but nothing really ever came of it. I think a lot of screenwriters will admit to how difficult it is, how challenging it is to get something made. So I kind of went back to my first love, which was drawing. I when I was a kid, I used to collect comics. I was drawing ever since I was really young, and I always kept up the hobby. It was always a hobby for me, and at some point, I just decided I had this idea for. It was originally, I was like, oh, it'd be kind of interesting script, but like, what if I did it as a graphic novel? And I kind of decided I was going to do it. I had never really done a comic. I mean, I had done a comic years ago for this independent production company when I had first come out here to do some. I did an internship, and I did the illustration for this. It wasn't all that like, and I don't think my skill was up on par, which was like kind of necessary for the time to be. I just I wasn't at that level yet. So, but I kept drawing, and I took classes. I just loved illustration. I loved comic book illustration. That's what I grew up, on. I just John Byrne was like the first guy. I was like, absolutely. I remember the first X-Men I got with him illustrating. I was like, who's this guy? Right. So over the years, I just kept drawing. And then I came to that point in my life, like, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do a graphic novel, even though I don't really know what I'm going to do. So, and I started doing illustration digitally, and I ended up doing 5 issues of this comic book called Dead Future King. It's about King Arthur, if he came back, because the prophecy is that he's supposed to come back, and he'll the once a future king supposed to come back and heal England. Well, what if he came back during a zombie epidemic, right? Current day. So Merlin brings him back, and I did 5 issues, and I found a publisher. Golden Apple Comics published the first 3 issues, and I was doing it all. I was illustrating it, I was writing it, I was coloring it. It was a lot. I think in some ways I bit off more than I could chew. And then Jared, who I knew because we worked at the same company, he was writing. He went to UCLA. He was taking taking the writing program there, getting his master's in screenwriting. And we were friends, and he was the one who really kind of encouraged me to do the graphic novel as well. So, Dead Future King. So when I had this idea about a ghost club that was based on a true historical thing that happened, where um, Charles Dickens was part of this ghost club, and so was Peter Cushing years later. It's like, the occult was very popular in England. So and Arthur Conan Doyle was part of that too. So I pitched the idea to Jared, and he's like, he loved it. He's like, yeah, let's do it. And I had never written with anybody before. I never had a co-writer. I mean, I'd written a bunch of screenplays on my own, but we tested the waters and it worked out. I mean, at first it was challenging because we had never written with anybody else, but as we started finding our process, we just really work well together. I feel like we complement each other's in a lot of ways. Whereas like I I tend to be more like indie art house kind of vibe, and he's like more popcorn movie. But we have crossover because he likes indie movies too, and I like popcorn movies. So we kind of find a nice middle ground. So then we did Inspectors. We did that as we wrote the screenplay first. That was we were kind of going the cart before the horse in some ways, but we wrote the screenplay with the intention of doing it as a graphic novel, and we did that. So we did we did the screenplay, and then we went and we started. After that was done, we started doing a graphic novel, and with that screenplay, we actually ended up getting a manager represent us as screenwriters. So then from there, we wrote a couple of screenplays. Actually, wrote like three screenplays together, three or four, and two got optioned. But that's another story for another time. Like there's so much going on with that. But with Inspectors, we found a publisher, Blue Fox Comics. Love them. They're great. They're over in the UK. Simon Burks, he's a writer as well. He publishes it with his wife Marielle, and they loved the story and they published it. They published it as 2 volumes. And from there, Jared and I were like, well, what's our next follow-up project? We were thinking Jared had this idea about a haunted hotel. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like a really cool concept. Like, let's explore that. And we did. That's Do Not Disturb. We worked on, instead of doing it as a screenplay, we decided, okay, let's just write it as a comic book. It's going to be a 4-issue comic book, and write it specifically for comics, which was exciting. And I think in some ways liberating, because when you're writing a screenplay, you have your acts, you have your first, second, third act, you have your breaks, you have your inciting incident, which is all the same for comic books. But in comic books, you have to have like cliffhangers, you have to have that moment. So how's this going to end? And, but because I had grown up reading comic books, uh, I was like, I could do this. We could totally do this. And Jared was really new to comics. So I kind of like pointed him into like how to write for comics in that sense. And he picked it up like very quickly. Like he was a quick learner and he just got it down. And so then, yeah, that was kind of the beginnings of Do Not Disturb. And now we got picked up by Invader. They loved it, and they're publishing it. So that's kind of where I'm at now. Like long story short, that's
That was
that's
that
how we
was
got here.
great. Yeah. So what was it like to pitch it to him? Go through that process.
Pitch it to Jared or
Invader. Or
Invader?
both. Oh, both. Ooh.
Well, well,
We need the
right.
opposite
Okay. Yeah. So
controversy. I
the
need
con
the inside scoops,
the
so I
inside
can play
scoop.
the episodes back to back, and
Right.
edit
Because
it to
you're
where
gonna
you
get
guys are fighting,
that's
and
true. We're gonna get. You know what? He sugarcoated it. We're gonna get down and dirty here.
right, here we
Uh,
go.
or it was a big brawl, man. We came to blows. No, actually, Jared, he pitched me the idea. Like, so, this time around, it was an idea that I liked because it was like, what if you had Die Hard, but it's in a hotel and it's haunted and it's a ghost and they want to get rid of the ghost? It's like, well, I love Die Hard. So he
Right.
kind of had me there, right? And it was kind of like that. And I'm thinking, oh, it's like Dread. So it's kind of that idea of like you're in a hotel and you either want to get out or you want to, you want to stay and somebody's trying to get you out. So with that, yeah, I'm like, I'm totally down for that. And it was really the idea was trying to find. We had a different approach, where initially it was going to be a girl that came to the hotel to exercise the hotel unwittingly. She was kind of this fraud who doesn't really do that, but she somehow connects with Halsey, who in the story is already a ghost. And the hotel's trying to exercise the hotel because it's a known haunted hotel in Los Angeles. But as we were pitching the idea and trying to figure out a different, because that angle just for some reason wasn't gelling. And then we thought, well, what if it were like a kind of a neo noir, kind of like DOA, like, the story of a cop who, in that case, he knows he's going to die, but we're like, what if the cop is dead, or he's not a cop, he's a private investigator, but he's dead. He dies at the hotel, and he's so determined to find this person that he's been paid to look for that he won't give up, even being dead.
And
So
didn't even realize he was dead. It took him a while.
yeah, right. So it's like kind of like he stumbles upon oh, that was my body. How did I
I've
end
only
up
read issue 1, so I don't think I
Oh,
have the
okay.
other ones,
I
but
don't
I'll
want to
get
give away.
them. They're
Okay,
on my
cool.
pull list. So
Awesome. So that's kind of how that came about. Once we got the story, and we started work on it immediately. Like, so we weren't really looking for a publisher until we felt like it was done. Same with Inspectors. How it happened is that Jared and I broke down the story. We do a treatment. So we break down the story, and then I wrote issue 1 initially. He wrote issue 2. I wrote issue 3, and then he wrote issue 4. But how we work is that even though I do what I did 1 and 2, he gets his pass on that. So then he goes back and he does his changes on 1 and 2, and I do the same thing on 1 and 3, and I did the same thing for 2 and 4. So it's a collective between he and I. Like we work together, and iron out like what doesn't work, what works. And a lot of times, like, that's the great thing about having a writing partner, is that sometimes your first instinct isn't your best one, right? It's not the best idea. So a lot of it is bouncing these ideas off somebody. And the ones that really kind of um, come into relief are the ones that are the work the most, the ones that we excite us. There's a twist in Do Not Disturb in issue 3 that was like kind of came about in a session where we're just like, we need something here. We need something. Like, how is this going to get resolved? And I think it was really just working with Jared and kind of kicking around these ideas that we came up with this. Because a lot of it's like when we're working together, we're like, well, what if this happens? Right. So you had that immediate response. That person's there to say yes or no. Or, he'll have that look in his face like, because we work through Zoom. Like well, now we do it. Yeah, well, we used to do it on Zoom. Zoom is now Teams or whatever. But like, that's how we worked. We work on camera, and now that he lives in Nashville and I live here in LA, now we have to do that. There was a time when we'd get together and do it, but now we do it remotely.
right, he had to
So
move away from you.
yeah, I had to go. You had to leave me. That ain't cool. But anyway, I love the guy anyway.
Closer to me. I'm in North Carolina, so he's
Oh,
closer to
okay.
me now. So
Oh, then
I get to
know,
I go to Nashville at least once a year, so I hope to do a
you
convention
do.
there and
You
meet up
gotta
with him. So
you gotta meet up with them for
I
sure.
hope so, for
For sure.
sure.
You're gonna take this on the road. And
I am. So we are in 2026. This is our year. I wanted to. So we started the podcast March of last year,
mhm.
and just my daughter and I kicking around. I had to start a podcast for my day job. That was
Yeah.
one of the things we started last year. Until it's so corporate and 10 layers of approval, I couldn't. It was driving me crazy because I wanted to learn. I learned by doing, right? I wanted to learn the process of writing a comic, so I wrote one, right? So,
AJ, that's absolutely, you learn by doing.
learned by
Absolutely.
doing. That's how I've been my whole life.
You jump in the deep end of the pool, and you'll figure out how to swim and how to get out, right? So
Exactly. So my daughter comes in here one day in my office and she's like, I want to be on your podcast. Like, yeah, it's never going to happen. It's a, long-term development type, business kind of podcast. And I'm like, yeah, it's not, I'm just a producer. I was like, yeah, it's not going to happen. She's like, well, let's start one. And I'm like, well, I need to learn how to do this anyway. So let's start one. I was like, what do you want to do? She's like, comics. I'm like, sold. So we start, because I've always loved comics. She had just
Oh,
gotten
that's
into
great.
comics a few months
Yeah.
before that. So we dug all our comics and we started getting weekly pulls and just we
Uh,
dove head first and we just started having a great time. And then I never thought about doing interviews until I got an email one day. Hey, would you like to interview this guy? And I'm like, sure, I'll try it. And I
uh,
loved it. So then it was like just opened up. I've done, probably 40 interviews now. So
uh,
it's been great. I love it.
this is great. I love that you do that with your daughter too. I mean,
And I
because
get to do it with her. We get to do
yeah,
one a show a week. Then I get to do episodes like this. And sometimes she'll even join these episodes. So,
uh,
like the one with TS, she joined. She loves TS Luther. She loves that guy.
well,
It's
TS is awesome.
hilarious.
Yeah,
He
TS
is
is he
phenomenal.
is like he's like a bolt of energy. Like when you see him
Yep.
talk videos and yeah, I checked out Digger. It's awesome. I was
He sent it to me twice. I have
Mhm.
it, and I have refused to read it until next week when it comes out. So
Oh,
you're
okay, okay,
because
that's
his is
right,
coming out next week too.
right. I had to see. Yeah, it's on the PDF, but
Yeah,
I'm
I've got it
recommending it right
twice in
now.
my email, but I refuse to open it.
I'm endorsing it right here.
Awesome. Oh, I know it's gonna be good. I just, just the fact that I keep telling him not to send it to me, and he sent it to me twice because I
Well,
sent him my script. I sent him what I had of my book to let him read it, and
well, God bless him, man. He's like he's working it. He's
he is.
hustles it. That's great.
He's great. I forgot where I was going with this whole story, um, but we started a year ago, and I learned. I think it was the whole learn by doing. Right? It was you go back and watch episode 1. It's me and my daughter at a card table with like a iPad in front of us, and that's it. And now we have microphones, and she has a whole setup on the other side of the room with her background, and I have my background, and it's awesome. We have a great time, and
That's great.
same thing with
And
the comic. I was inspired by all these interviews to like, I want to write a comic. I want to learn how to publish a comic and, do that. So I did. And I found an artist who's been awesome. We're almost done. Issue 1's coming out. I've already got now scripts for 2 more that I want to work on. So
wow, okay, cool.
it's crazy.
So I'm now
Hopefully I'll sell
I'm gonna
one.
start interviewing you. So what did you
Yeah.
always have it? Was your intention always to be a writer, or was it something that you just I
Never.
love
That is
comics?
a
Let's
joke
do this.
right there. Like that
Uh,
is the joke of that is I don't know what the word is for it, but like like maybe that's the karma because I've always hated reading and writing. I'm a math guy,
uh,
right? And so I was never a big reader. I'd read comic books and stuff like that as a kid, but I
yeah.
hated reading novels, all that
Uh,
stuff. And now I'm 44 years old and I'm laying there at night with my flashlight on my phone reading a comic every night before bed, like I'm 5 years old again. But, except my mom don't bust in the room and tell me to go to bed, right? So
oh, right. Oh man,
I'm an adult now. I go,
right.
she,
What are you doing in my room? I'm reading a
right.
comic. Take a
I'm
look.
reading a comic. Um, so I don't feel like I'm the greatest writer either, but I was inspired by Stephanie Phillips. She has
Uh,
her TikTok. She does a lot of how-to kind of videos. Like, this is
yeah,
how I wrote my scripts. This is how I did this.
yeah.
And I like a few people who do that. And one of her videos was I literally take a piece of paper when I come up with an idea and I label it 1 through 20 and or 22, 24, however many pages the comic's going to be. And I just write the overarching theme of each page. It's like, I can do that. Right. So I did it. So I did it one day. I sat here and I went 1 through 20 and I wrote an idea down. Okay. I let it sit there for a couple weeks. And then I flew to Seattle. And from here, that's a long flight. It's like 6 hour
Yeah,
plane
yeah,
ride.
yeah.
Right.
My side,
So
right.
and so I was like, I'm going to take the time on the airplane. I'm not going to buy the internet or anything like that. I'm going to write my script on the airplane. So I did the 6 hour plane ride there and the 5 hours back. I wrote the script.
Congratulations. Most would succumb to temptation. They would either take a nap or watch the in-flight film. So,
Right.
I give you
I,
credit for that.
so I did. I did that and I got back. And what you were saying earlier about the collaboration between you and Jared and how he gets his pass on the book and everything, I didn't really think about until I found the artist. It was a guy I interviewed. His name is Mike Algier from Dork Arts Comics. Um, I loved his books. He sent me a couple. His one's up here on my wall. Mr. Fisk up here.
Mhm.
Uh, and he, I sent it to him, and well, he had actually sent me. He did like a fan art of Panel Pete, you know,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." I was like, "How about you do a cover for me?" He's like, "All right, I'll do that." And he did the cover, and he sent it to me. And I'm like, "Well, heck, you know, do you want to just do the whole book?" And he's like, "Sure." So I, paid him to do the whole book, and um, he would send, but when he would send me the pages, he would tweak the words just a little bit, right? Which I was perfectly fine with because I
Right.
didn't have somebody that did that second pass, right? Like, I wrote the script and I finished it and I printed it out and I handed it to my kid and I handed it to my wife and I ran and hid. You know?
Yeah.
And they both come back and were like, "This is pretty good." I'm like, "Oh, sweet." But I felt like it was a little short. Um, but so then I gave it to Mike and he's like, "Hey, do you mind if I add a word here or there just to tweak it?" And I'm like, "Go for it." Like, 'cause I didn't have a second pass. So he'll send me a page full of artwork and the lettering, and I'm like, "Oh, this is,
Oh,
this
so he
makes this
does
sto—"
he does
He's doing
lettering
the
too?
coloring and lettering for me as well. So,
Oh, okay. I wonder
yep,
if he works in, Clip Studio Paint because you have that there's that function in Clip Studio Paint. But that's great that he does that. So you
I think
paid him to
it
do
might
the
be.
art and the coloring and the
And the
lettering.
lettering, yep.
Wow, he's a
So,
one-stop shop. That's great.
one-stop shop, so it's me
Right.
and Mike, and,
That's a true collaborator right there. Like, so
right.
the two of you, that's fantastic.
I gave him co-writing
Mhm.
credit too, because like, he helped write the story,
Right.
and craft the story. I mean, that was my first script ever. It's the first thing ever written since probably high school. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Hey, congratulations, man. That's awesome. Like that you actually, because I think a lot of it's the fear.
right.
People either or they talk themselves out of it, or if it's hard. Like, and you did it great. You did it like incrementally, like because people think of the big picture, like, oh, I can't do all that. Like, how am I going to write this immersive world when it really is just like taking it in bite-sized portions. And like
You
you said,
just
when you
gotta
did
take
that,
the step.
right, when you did that flight, you had the the you're on the plane and you're breaking down the story in bite-sized portions and you were able to get it to and now you have a book that's coming out.
It's
That's
crazy. I
awesome.
can't wait to get it printed. Next month, I also have a friend that owns a print shop,
Mhm.
so he's gonna print the book for me. He lives in Michigan, so I'm going to Michigan, and,
Oh, really cool.
as soon as it's done, I'm going to Michigan, going to the print shop, and, gonna record the whole thing coming off the press and,
Oh, that's so cool.
the first copy and all that stuff, so that's gonna be really cool. But I love the collaboration, and I've been very fortunate because you hear so many horror stories of, artists that'll do 5 pages and then give up or ask for more money or,
Yeah,
craziness.
AJ, yeah, finding the right collaborator it's kind of like a needle in a haystack because like sometimes you have to go through. I'm very fortunate that Jared is my writing partner. Like I can't imagine myself writing with anybody else. So if it sounds like you've got a great collaborator there that you
What's
could go.
crazy, multiple things, and you asked the question, so that's why I'm doing a lot of talking here, but
I tend to do
normally
that. So
that's
I
fine.
honestly, when I talk to people, I tend to ask a lot of questions.
That's fine. I
It's
love
no
it.
fault,
I
but
love
I don't
talking.
know. I
So
just like finding out, right? So
I am very fortunate. I love Mike to death. I can't wait. I'm gonna meet him. I've not met him in person, but we're gonna table together at Terrificon in August. So
okay,
that's super exciting. But I've been very fortunate that he's helped me write it, draw it, all that stuff. He's been very supportive. And one of the coolest things we're doing in the book, and then he's turning it around on me, is part of, and you already know, I think about this. I'll remind you, most of my book is set in a comic shop, right?
mhm.
Because Panel Pete lives in a comic, right? So there's a comic shop. And inside the comic shop on the walls are "Do Not Disturb" is in my book.
No,
Uh, yeah, so I'm sure Jared asked you or told you about it.
oh, I
So
think you might have mentioned something about that. Yeah,
like on the wall in my comic shop, instead of having Marvel and DC books on the comic wall, all the people that I've interviewed that have allowed me, I'm using their books on the wall in the comic shop. So Do Not Disturb, The Digger, stuff like that are in the book on the comic shop or on the wall in
Right.
the comic
Did you
shop.
post an image about that? Because
Uh,
I was
I may have. I think I
okay.
posted one not long ago and
Yeah,
tagged you.
I think
Probably
Jared
tagged
reposted
Jared.
or something. I was like, oh, that's cool. And now I know.
Yeah,
Well, okay, then well, that's
that's
great. I love
yeah.
it.
So I'm promoting your book inside my book. So, um, that's really cool. I think to do that, and hopefully I can do more issues and
Hmm.
continue that trend with people that didn't make the cut right in the book in the
Right.
first book. Well, what Mike's doing is, he asked me, he's like, well, what are you doing about another issue? Because this is a one shot, right? All the ones I'm thinking are going to be one shots, as far
Hmm.
as I know. They might be one or two issues, but there's like going to be standalone stories. It's not going to be this epic 50, issue run of a Panel Pete story.
Yeah.
I'm not
Right.
doing that.
Hmm.
Um, that's the joy of having a mascot like this that lives in a comic, can do anything. You could be in any setting, in any, time, in any place, time period or whatever. So I've got a couple other ideas, like I want to do an origin. A small town tucked inside a quiet comic shop. Something magical is waking up. Billy never felt like he belonged. A new school, a couple of bullies, and no real friends. But everything changes when he finds a forgotten comic in the dollar box. From the pages of a comic comes a tiny, shape-shifting hero determined to help Billy find his confidence. He whispers encouragement, he sneaks through the halls, and he shows Billy the hero he can become. Because sometimes all it takes is one unexpected friend to help you rewrite your story. From the dollar bin to the real world, the Chronicles of Panel Pete, an all-ages fantasy one-shot adventure. A story about courage, friendship, and the magic waiting in every comic shop. Created and written by A.J. Reimann. Illustrated and co-written by Mike Algier. Are you ready for issue 1? But what Mike wants to do is, this was basically his first professional gig. And that just makes me cry almost when he says, he's like, yeah, this is my first professional gig. I'm like, well, I don't feel like it's professional, but I guess it is, right? I'm paying him. I'm
Yeah.
promoting it.
All
It's a
intents and
professional
purposes,
gig, right? It's
special
like
gig.
it's like when somebody tells me you're a writer, like it's still just like weird hearing.
No,
But
yeah.
what he wants to do is, instead of him doing the artwork on another issue, is he wants to help somebody else that he knows get their first like paid professional gig,
Oh wow.
and like recommend that person, right? And
Pay it
then
forward.
pay it forward kind of
Right.
thing, which I think is an awesome idea,
Yeah.
and he'll do covers for any other issue I do, of course, but he wants to help other people get that same, experience and same opportunity. So I thought
Gotcha.
that was really cool.
That is cool. That's good. And you're cool with that, right?
I'm cool with it. I don't
Well,
care.
then everybody's
Like,
happy. That's
as
awesome.
long as I can afford to do another book, that's going to be the benefit right there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it can be expensive.
It
It's
is.
I think a lot of people don't realize how well, depending on the artist, but putting a book together can be very expensive because like I'm doing the illustration, so that's covered. But and you're lucky because you got somebody who does the color and lettering, which I can do too. But we farmed out for a colorist and a letterer, which we're really pleased with. Lorenzo Scaramella does the colors and Letter Squid does the letters. I I think they're great. They're phenomenal. So, but that costs money.
It's out of your pocket, or
Yeah, and
you're
it's
in
mostly out of
Jared's, right?
it's mostly out of yeah, it's Jared. Jared pays for that because I'm doing the illustration, so that's kind of how we work it
Okay,
out. Where he pays for the
that's
letterer
fair.
and the colorist, and I'm doing the illustration. Yeah, and sometimes people are like, "Oh, I'll do a graphic novel. I'll get an artist," and you can, but you also have to vet them. You have to make sure that, like you were saying, you had some examples of like you could get an artist that really they take their time. They don't get you the pages that you need or in a timely manner, which you've agreed to, and so you run the risk there. So um, it's not for the faint at heart, but I don't want to discourage people from doing it either
Right.
because it you
Their good ones are out there.
there are out there, yeah, and like I remember like I used ArtStation. I don't know if people do that, but there are a lot of great artists in ArtStation, a website. I found Lorenzo on there. I think I may have found Letter Squids, but Lorenzo is a working colorist. He's done a title for Mad Cave, and it's called A Love Story, uh, and shows Letter Squids. So yeah, I I think it, it has its challenges because you also talking about like that. You want to make a book that looks professional because you want to approach a publisher. If you're going to self-publish, then that's one thing. But if you're looking for a publisher, you want a book that's going to be like you would see that
Haven't
on a.
decided.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like some people are fine with self-publishing. I mean, there's Kickstarter, right? And you develop a following doing that. Um, and I think for us, we want to. I mean, we'd love to get Image to publish something that we do, but if they don't, that's cool too. I mean, I love Invader. I love the relationship we have with them, and I love working
So how did
with
you
Blue
meet those
Fox.
guys? How did
Oh,
you
that's a
meet
great question.
Invader?
Yeah. So I had done way back when I wrote the screenplay called Domino Effect, and I had done the first issue. I adapted it to a graphic. My intention is to eventually do it as a graphic novel, and I did the first issue. It's a film noir. It's a noir, but it was based on a film noir script that I wrote. And I was looking for different publishers, and I found Invader, and I submitted to Mike, and Mike really liked it. He's like, "Hey, this is really cool. We're really into doing this." However, um, that was like I was working with Jared on Do Not Disturb, and I was like, okay, this was more like a litmus test, like wondering if Domino Effect could actually have somebody that's interested in it. So and he was, but I was like, look, I'm committed to working on this project with Jared. We're a writing team, and this is something I do on the side. But like Jared and I are professional writers, and we work together as a team. And I said, I'm working on this other project, but let me get back to you in the future. So it'd been like I'd say maybe 6, 7, maybe even a year. And he reached out to me, asked me about Domino Effect. I said, I'm not anywhere near done with Domino Effect, but I have this other project. Would you be into it? And I said to him what we had at Do Not Disturb, and he's like, "Yeah, I want to publish this." And I'm like, "Great, let's do it." So that's how we got Do Not Disturb to Invader.
Awesome.
And despite because Jared had, I think in the interview with you, he said that we had submitted an open submission. And I reminded him like, oh, well, it was an open submission, and I know Invader does have open submissions, but in this instance, I had met Mike through this other thing that I'd worked on, and and then that's how we got Do Not Disturb to him.
That's really cool. I've been tempted to send it to Mike. I haven't done it, but I didn't. You had asked, was it my intention to always be a writer, and not even close, right? I just did it to learn the process. And also, I was telling you, we're taking the show on the road basically this year, right? I wrote, I come from like a hobby store background.
Mhm.
I owned like a hobby shop with board games, card games, stuff like that. And I turned that into miniature game accessories, would travel around to different small gaming conventions to sell that stuff. And when I thought about going to conventions for the podcast, I was really struggling with I'm gonna pay this money to have a booth, but I have nothing to sell,
Mhm.
right? Like it's a
Right.
strict marketing expense, right? Getting somebody's email address or getting somebody to subscribe to YouTube or something, that's a sale, right? That's what
Mhm.
I have to wrap my head around being a sale. So I was like, but if I write a comic book, which I need to learn the process anyway, I'll at least have a comic on the table, right? I can at least sell
Yeah.
the eat a chicken sandwich. That's a reference from the episode that's dropping tomorrow. I had a
Uh-huh.
marketing lady on, Lauren. She was phenomenal. But she just stitched one of my videos on TikTok of my daughter today. That was pretty
Cool.
funny. Um, we had this whole blind bag issue where the book's taped to the bag, so it's like ruined. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, this blind bag issue is going around in the comic industry right now. But
Oh, I'm not familiar with that. Blind bag?
yeah, so like this is the blind bag, right? So there's the Harley Quinn Elvira Dynamite
Oh, okay.
blind
Gotcha.
bag, right?
Gotcha.
But
Right.
when she tried to open it, it's glued. It's to the back. So if you rip it
Okay.
apart, oh, I'm trying to show you.
Oh,
But like
no.
if you rip it apart, it's gonna rip the comic,
Oh,
right?
geez.
Yeah. So my daughter was very upset about that, and I posted a short on it earlier, and then like I pulled that one. That's the Scotty Young 1 in 100 of the Ultimate
Uh-huh.
Endgame. But all the Ultimate blind bags have like 6 or 8 tick marks down the edge of the spine from like their loading process.
Ugh.
It's horrible. So hopefully they'll do something to fix it, but we'll see.
I mean, it maybe in some ways that's a collectible because of it. I don't think so, but
Yeah, I don't know. So I sent an email to Dynamite. They're marketing people, but we'll see if they respond. But I'm nobody, so they're not going to respond to me. But I'll show them the video of my daughter, and they'll respond. She
absolutely.
was mad. But I
Describe
had a marketer on who's talking about, can you afford a chicken sandwich, and things you need to do to make money, right? You can't
yeah,
just we're not in this for free.
that's a good barometer right there for a chicken sandwich,
So
depending
it's
on what you
like,
get, right?
right. But if I go to a convention and spend all this money, I'm not going to buy a chicken sandwich. It's like, so the comic book will help. So that was another
Yeah.
reason to do it. And then I've also got this idea of, um, why don't I sell people's books that I interviewed, like have their books at my table too,
Well,
to help promote not only the podcast, but promote their book. I'm promoting it on the episode, and I could even have a little card with a QR code that like as seen on Talking Comics episode 48 and 80,
wow.
do not
Yeah,
disturb, right? And then like I could sell do not disturb at the table, and then promote the episodes, which only promotes you guys and the book.
it's cool. So, like, are you gonna be doing like a live stream? Like, Talking Comics is gonna have like a booth, and you'll have people come up and you'll talk to them.
I
Is
will
that
do
different?
some of that. The idea
Uh,
is to sell the comic and just advertise the podcast, right? In general, just say, hey, if you like comics and want to learn about comics, I have these little cool rat cards, postcards, just hey, here. I think Jared's on there. I think right
yeah.
there. Yeah, right there. It's the episode with Jared.
Okay.
Um
Yeah.
it's on my rat card. And TS beside him. But just to promote that, I'm gonna test that. I'm actually going to a gaming convention with a bunch of friends of mine in 2 weeks in South Carolina. But I'm gonna bring all this stuff with me, podcast stuff, and I'm gonna test doing some stuff live at the show. So we'll see how that goes.
That's cool. Like, and your daughter's going too, right?
Oh yeah, of
So,
course.
okay,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. But
She's
so,
the star of the show. I'm just here. I do all the work. She's the star. She gets the treatment. She has a
right.
sheet. I don't what do they call that sheet when actors like their rec sheet or something, like
All
their
sheet?
their
Is it called?
demands, the list of their
Oh,
demands or whatever.
listen.
Like you
Right.
have to have
Okay.
green M&Ms and,
Yeah.
Skittles or whatever.
Like
She
sounds
has
like
that
that.
sheet. She
Yeah. Yeah.
tells me I have to have all her stuff ready. She's spoiled.
But yeah, but she's the one who kind of says whether or not I guess she thinks it's a good idea, right? So she sounds
Oh, she
excited about
does.
it. So okay.
Yeah,
And she
she's
already came up with
excited.
the idea of doing the podcast. So she sounds like right now she's like, what, 1 for 1, 2 for 2? Like she
Yeah, I don't
seems
know.
like most of her ideas are working. So
She gets mad sometimes when I do these episodes without her because she enjoys doing the guest episodes too. And so much when I usually book people, I send them a little questionnaire, and one of the question is, do you want Annika on the podcast with us? And the answers are like the choices are yes, absolutely, or no, my stuff's like adult content, or no
Uh,
preference, right? So, I've never gotten a no. I've always either got yes or nah, my stuff's adult. She don't really need to be,
I
on,
mean,
right?
yeah, I think she'd be like definitely like she's like we're just the undercard, right? Like
Right.
she's the main event.
She's the
So
star of the show,
you're
right?
right,
So,
right.
and she's getting, she has her moments, but she does good, and sometimes she's in a mood. They're not as good, but that's okay. We
Sometimes
all
I
have
get
our good days and our bad
that's
days,
true.
right?
That's true.
So,
Look at my face. I already got a. Sometimes I have that mood.
right. So when you guys were working on Invader or I'm sorry, not Invader, on Do Not Disturb, with the intent of going to a publisher with it. Was
Yeah.
that your intent the whole time?
Yes.
So you would have sat on it for that's what I'm trying to wrap my head around is these people like TS and yourself, like you guys will put these projects, like I can't imagine all the work I've gone through writing my comic, getting the paying for the artwork, and then just sitting on it.
Well, it's not necessarily sitting on it. I because you allow for amount of time, right? Realistically,
Okay.
you would first of all you do your due diligence. You go look for different publishers that are looking for independent projects, and then you submit. A lot of times, it just you get crickets. You don't even get a response, right? So then you have like the fail safe. You wonder if you decide, okay, if we don't hear from any publishers, right, then there's the option to self publish, which is always an option, right? You could always do a
Right.
Kickstarter or like, so there's ways to go about it. And that was never completely off the table. I think for Jared and I, like, that would have been a legit option, right? Right now, we're working on another graphic novel. We don't have a publisher for it, and it's based on a screenplay that we wrote, and it's going to be six issues or six chapters. I mean, I'd like to have it come out as a book, but that's another thing where like we might just self-publish it. We don't know yet, uh it's still too early to tell, but I think that in this day and age, self-publishing is a viable option. I mean, I wrote a novel and I self-published it. I think it's just the idea is like I want to get something out there. I want it to exist. I
Right.
don't want it to occupy space on my computer because that's not going to serve anybody. I want it to be out there so people can read it. Whether or not it's a success, it's hard to put like some kind of figure on that. Like I don't even know. Like I don't know. I mean, you're creative. I'm a creative. Jared's a creative. We just want people. We want to put it out there and see if there's a response because we just love doing it. We love the process of doing it, and whether or not it gets published by a publisher, we of course we'd love to get it published by a publisher. But if that's not going to be the case, then we'll self publish it. And I think that's probably what you're thinking, right? Like,
Yeah.
are you thinking maybe I'd like to get this self published, or I mean, maybe I'd like to get this published? Is that something that you're considering?
It is now. Like, so in the beginning it wasn't. I was just gonna 100%. I was gonna print the book myself just to have it at my table, right? Like almost as just something to sell at my table when I go for the podcast at a booth. And then it came, then it turned into, talking with Jared, talking with TS, talking with Jimmy, these people are like, I'm like, well, maybe I do submit it to a couple publishers just to see, if I hear crickets, that's fine. Cause I'm doing it regardless, right? And even if I do a Kickstarter, which I'll do a Kickstarter, I'm not launching a Kickstarter till I will have boxes of that book on the floor right here.
Uh huh.
Like,
Right.
the book's going to be done and in my hands before I hit. I mean, I've got like a pre-launch page on Kickstarter now, right? But I won't hit launch until I have a book in my hands.
Uh-huh.
Cause I don't want to, especially coming from like the hobby side, a lot of like board games and stuff like that, they don't get funded. or if they do fund, it's years before you get your product,
That's yeah,
right?
I've heard about that. Yeah.
And, I've gotten packages in the mail and been like, "Oh, yeah, I ordered this 2 years ago." Right?
Because the
And
Kickstarter's funding it, right? I mean, is that
right,
what
the Kickstarter's funding it, and then they have production, they're going to China, which you got the boat, which I've been there, done that. I've done the import-export, you know, on products. So I get, that ship takes a long time to get here, you know. I tried to save money. I saved time, but it doubled my cost. I went from China to LA and then put it on a train from LA to North Carolina.
right.
Doubled my cost, but I got it like in a third of the time,
So
you know.
penny wise, pound foolish. Like, yeah, you think
Right.
you're saving money in one location, but you're actually spending it
But
elsewhere.
if I waited, 3 months for it to go the other way around the globe, around India and, through Africa and across the Atlantic and come to New York and then on a train down, that was half the price, but took 3.5 months to get here.
Right. They
You
said
know?
time is money. So, like,
Right.
you're not spending it, then you're actually probably it's taking longer.
Right. So
Yeah.
I'm still kind of torn. Like maybe I'm scared of the rejection, right? Like,
Look, I wouldn't. If you're asking me, not
yep,
if
I
you're not
am.
asking
I
me,
will.
that's
So
cool.
here's my question: if I'm asking,
Yeah.
like, I've thought about sending it to Mike, right? And I don't want to ruin the relationship that I have now with Mike and Invader, right? And I don't think that submitting a book and them rejecting me would ruin that. I don't want them to, but I also don't want them to feel obligated because of me doing like helping with the promotions of having their
Right.
people on. Like
Right.
I don't know if that just puts him in an awkward spot, and I don't want to do that either.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm still kind of torn.
Right. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. I mean, that's a great. That's a great way to look at it because, like, I could see if I were in your situation, I would be thinking the same, absolute same thing as well. But like, I guess it's a question of, do you really believe in it? Like, if as far as rejection, I mean, we've been rejected plenty of times, so I wouldn't let rejection stop you. And I mean, that's really my answer is like, don't let rejection stop you. And you know, I don't know what your relationship is with Invader, but maybe it's one of these things that they would consider it. So
Right.
I it's
I don't
hard to
want
say.
him in that awkward spot of having to tell me no,
Right,
right?
right,
Or feel obligated either. Like I want it to stand on its own, be a separate thing, right?
right,
You don't want great. It's coming out regardless. That's great.
right. Yeah.
If you want it, awesome. That's even cooler, right? To
I
learn
mean,
that
that was
side
kind
of
of
it,
our position too. Like,
you know?
I think once it's done and like, AJ, you finished it. So uh there's like a I mean, I don't know if autonomy is the like okay, you're your own sovereign nation, right? Like you
Right.
don't need anybody, right?
Right.
At that point, because you could always distribute it on your own. So if somebody tells you no, you're like, okay, okay, fine. I'll find somebody else to do it. You did the hard part. You got it done. So because you got it done, I think there's an advantage to that. And I think that's how Jared and I felt like when we finished Do Not Disturb. We believed in it, and whether or not other people believed in it, it's almost like you don't. It's not that you don't care, but you don't you don't care to the extent like, oh, what if people don't like it, and like, what if they shun it or they put it down, and it's done. I think there's a freedom to that. When it's complete, it is what it is, warts and all. So
Yeah, I think
all I have to
yeah.
say about it
I'm gonna send it to him. That's I just needed the kick in the butt to do it, right? Send it
was
to
okay.
Mike, send it to Oni, send it to whoever.
Yeah,
Uh
Oni. Yeah, there's a lot of cool independent publishers out there. Like, I like Drawn and Quarterly's cool. Fantagraphics. Like, I mean, these are like indie publishers that are just I see, because I grew up on Marvel. I
right.
was a huge Marvel fan, and DC as well, but like Marvel was my joint. And as I got older, I got more into independent comics. That's I'm less superhero. I don't even think I buy superhero comics anymore unless it's an artist I really admire. And in a lot of ways, I do buy comics to this day because it's artists that I really admire. Like I got Human Target because it Greg Smallwood. Like, did I say his name right?
I am
Yeah,
enjoying
yeah,
that.
Greg Smallwood. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. The art is immaculate. It's beautiful. And so yeah, and I want to throw this out there because I have you ever watched Matt? It's this guy on YouTube that does these they're like little documentaries on comic book creators. If you haven't checked it out, please do.
I will.
It's phenomenal. I love it. I've watched all of his videos, and if I could plug this guy wherever I go, I will, because I mean he's turned me on to books that I'd never heard of, like, Darwin Cook. I know he did like New Frontier, whatever, but like he had this series called Parker. Like it was like the first book was Hunter. For me, I feel like I'm a neophyte. A lot of these books I didn't hear of, but they've been around for a while. And I would recommend watching this guy and subscribing.
Okay.
He's
Yeah.
awesome. So, but like
I will
going
check
back
that
to
out.
comics, I grew up like reading X-Men, John Byrne. I was like, Spider-Man, John Romita. Like, I'm old school, so I was reading a lot of these old books. And then through like the 90s, I kind of fell off. I was like into Image for a while. I was reading Spawn. I was getting it was like what was that other Travis Cherry? He did a series. I loved his art. And then like after a while, I started getting into more indie, like Adrian Tamina, like I and some of these smaller books. Um, I know Mark Millar isn't an indie, but like some of his indie, like Nemesis, I thought was a crazy series, but like I really enjoyed it. So I think like with indies, there's so many indie publishers now that, if you thought maybe I should put submit my book, Panel Pete, like I get that right? I'm
Yeah,
sorry
it's
if I
what's the Chronicles of Panel Pete is the
the
official
Chronicles of
title,
Panel
but
Pete. Yeah. I
yeah,
say give it a shot. You got nothing
yeah,
to lose because it's gonna
got
come out
nothing to
anyway, like you
lose.
said. It's
Yep,
gonna come out.
I'm getting it printed next month. That's crazy to
Right. There
say,
you
but
go. There you go.
and the cool part is it's got Do Not Disturb in the book.
And that's very cool.
I
Let's
appreciate you guys
let's
letting me
not
do that.
underappreciate how cool that is.
Right? I think it's really cool to be able to do that. It's like a
Right.
little homage to the indie
I love it.
community, and just to, in my opinion, and you've touched on it already. It's like we're all in this together to help each other.
Yeah.
Collaboration is everything in this business, in this community, building the community. And that's the other thing is I'm trying to build the community here, not just, customers, right? Like I want to build the community of the podcast, right? And just help others and other podcasts, and I'm going to go on other podcasts and have them on
Right.
my show and
Yeah.
stuff, so it's, we're all in this together to help each other, you know. I mean, you've answered all the cool questions, except my fun questions, but like,
I like fun questions, but if you have any other cool questions, I'll answer those as well.
just like, what is your final thoughts on, like, just advice for creators, or, you know, something you wish you would have known when you started that you know now, or
I'll say this much. I feel like, advice is helpful, but each person's journey is a different one, right? My journey is different from yours. And all these other creators. I think it's the people that get to where they want to go are the people that do it, right? Regardless of any obstacles that get in their way. They learn this craft. They develop a skill. If you want to write, just start writing. Like you started writing. No one stopped you from doing it. There's no one
right,
stopping you from doing it. Just write and be open to getting notes from people that you respect and trust, right? Because you're not gonna hit it out of the park the first time out, but you'll get a single, you'll get a double, and the next time you write, it'll be even better, right? And I think for me, like when I started doing it, the comic that I draw now is different from the comic that I drew back then. I feel like it's a lot better. The art is a lot better. I'm actually I feel like my not that speed is an indicator, but I'm better, I'm faster, and it looks better and it's more crafted. And I think it's just repetition is the key. Just keep doing it and try to not listen to the negative voice in your head that tells you that it's like, you know, not it's not any good.
Right.
Just ignore that voice if you can, and try, instead of finding like a motivation, just do it, because a lot of times people need, they say I need to be inspired, I'm looking for that inspiration. It's like, no, 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 just do it every day. Doesn't have to be, you know, hours. Just even if you spend 15 minutes working on something, right, just as long as you're dedicated and committed to doing that, then you'll, in the long run, you'll see results. That's how I, that's my advice. You know, I think it's like everybody's path is different, but as long as you will find your path. It's just learning the skill, learning to craft, and then when opportunity presents itself, just taking advantage of that.
Love that. I love that. So what got you into being a writer and an artist?
Okay, so I'm gonna shoot back to the past, right?
Yep. We
I
kind of went
remember,
through a lot of the
right,
present. Now we're going to the
yeah,
past.
to the past, but it's very, it'll be brief. I think what really inspired me was the movie Alien, the original Alien. I remember seeing that as a kid, and I felt it was so, like, I was so immersed in that world. It felt so real to me. Like, I was never really a Star Wars guy, but like Alien was something about that. Could be like the art house guy in me, whatever. But I, and from that point on, I thought about story. I thought about being a storyteller, and how that would come about, and just writing and reading, and for me it's less, I think of myself as more of a storyteller and less as a writer. I feel like there's this idea of being a writer that it's like, oh, I'm a writer, like it I don't, it's almost too elevated for me, you know, like there's like this
I agree with
sophistication
that. When
about
I'm
that, right?
called a writer, I'm like, what? No, I'm not a
Yeah,
writer.
right. You're
No,
like,
I,
wow,
I wrote
you
one
know, there's a
script.
lot riding here, and I don't know if I have the credentials to call myself a writer, but I could say I'm a storyteller. I love stories. I love telling stories, either in doing it in writing, which I love to do, but also doing it illustratively. Like, I love telling stories as an artist by just one panel or one image. What's that story tell, right? I think there's less pressure when you say you're a storyteller, and more expectation when you say I'm a writer. Like, well, what have you written? Well, you know, but I think that's, for me, that's, it's more, that's what got me into writing. I just, when I would watch a movie, I knew initially I thought I wanted to be a director, but it was really the stories that really spoke to me. A lot of these writers, like, I remember seeing, I was older, but I remember seeing Network and I loved that movie, but I think it was because of the writing, you know? And that's what got me into, and I got me into writing screenplays. And then from there, I was like, well, I love comics. And I love, it's like movies. I mean, you're creating a movie on paper, and or digitally, however you view these stories. And you could create whatever set you want. You don't have to worry about that, right? It's not as expensive as doing a movie where you have to get a production designer, all this stuff, and a set designer. So you could really explore that medium for all you can. Like, you could just create these elaborate worlds and really immerse that reader. So I guess, long story short, a long answer to your question is that I think it was just going back then and really loving story, and really embracing the idea of how a story can transcend so much, and how it relate to universal themes in life. And like, always kind of glommed onto that. And that's what got me into it.
That's very cool. That's very cool. All right, I have some fun questions for you. Unless I also ask this question a lot too, or every question, or every episode. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you want to talk about? Because the last thing I want is you to leave here and be like, dang, I wish AJ would have asked me this, or I wish we would have talked about this.
Well, I want to thank people for the opportunity that I've had. That is, like I said, I'd like to thank Keith and Kevin, who are part of Invader, and Michael, who they've been helping us get our book out. So I'm thankful for them. Mike Perkins, like, very thankful for him. So for me, it's more like gratitude. You know, I'm thankful for Lorenzo, our colorist. Thankful for Letter Squids. I'm thankful for a previous colorist when we worked on Inspectors, and our letterer there. So I just thankful for that. And as far as something I'd like to mention, um, yes, today was the last day that you could order Do Not Disturb issue 2. But by the time it comes out, it'll be too late. But
Issue 1 will come out, next week.
yes, issue
If
1's
you're
coming out
watching this will
today.
come out on
Right.
Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Issue 1 will come out tomorrow on this when this releases. So I will be, well, I don't usually go to the comic shop till Thursdays, but just the way my schedule works with my daughter and everything. Like, I'm the one that picks her up on school on Thursday, so I pick her up at school and we go to the comic shop. So just the
Okay,
way
good.
it works out.
Like,
So
you had that on the schedule. That's cool.
it's added to the schedule.
But we're doing a comic signing at Golden Apple Comics on the 24th of January. So if you're in town in LA, please come by.
Is Jared coming out there?
Jared's coming out. Yes.
Wow. I wish the 24th of January, huh?
The 24th is coming
How
close
much
because I
is
just
a
went
ticket
to. Oh,
to
really?
LA?
It depends. It depends on when you get it. But it's a little gnarly because I just checked with the local comic shop today, and it doesn't arrive at the shop until the 21st. So we're cutting it really close. Jared's coming out, and Jared, I'm gonna have to call. I haven't talked to him about this yet. I haven't mentioned it to him. So as soon as I get off this, I'm gonna call him and say, "Hey, I don't mean to make you nervous, but it's gonna be pretty close." But I have all the faith in the world that it'll get here on time, and we'll have
Right.
comics that we'll be able to sign.
So they're getting extra books, or they're not getting their first shipment?
Well, the first shipment doesn't. I think their shipment. I don't know if any of if the other stores are the same, but they're not receiving until the 21st,
Okay.
and we're doing the signing on the 24th.
Right. Well, hopefully, because issue 1's the 14th, right? Pretty sure.
If it is, then great. You know what? That's good. Maybe they're getting it late. There's nothing to worry about.
I'm gonna look. You got me. You got me wondering now. I gotta look at my pull list. That's what I love about League of Comic Geeks is I can just look at my pull list.
Oh, you just look it up like that real
Yeah.
quick? That's cool.
Yeah. So week of the 14th, Artillery issue 2,
Okay.
Digger number 1, Do Not Disturb number 1. So
All right, cool.
All 3 are on my pull list for
all right.
the
All right, cool.
14th.
You just allayed my fears, man. Thank you.
You should be fine. Like they're probably getting like an extra shipment for the signing or something. It would be my guess.
Well,
Right.
this was a different comic shop, but you know, because I went to a few comic shops.
I will rage. I will go live on TikTok and rage if I don't get those 3 books in my comic shop on next Wednesday or Thursday. So
do it, man.
I'll be like, what's going on? It'll be his fault, not your guys's, but
right.
I will yell because it's happening, but luckily you guys are through Lunar, so it should be fine.
Or it's like
there's some of these indies that go through like different distributors that aren't Lunar that my shop has a little hard time getting.
Okay.
Because you have to order so much to get, shipping, and if there's only one person, myself, getting a pull from that publisher, they're not gonna pull it.
Well, that's what like I went to a couple local shops here and I put in because they didn't even hear of the book. So they had no idea. But like I just spread the word, so we'll see.
as much as we can. And when, your next one comes out, I'll have you guys back. We should do one with you and Jared together. That'd be
I would
awesome. The
love
three
that.
of us.
And
That
get
would
your
be,
daughter involved
yeah,
too.
we'll bring my daughter in too. That'd be amazing.
Right.
Be a lot of fun. All right, you get the fun questions now.
Mhm.
And if you watch Jared's episode, you already know what they are. So, who was your first favorite superhero or comic character?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. All right.
Spider-Man. I remember well, okay. Yeah, it has to be Spider-Man. I mean, I graduated. I mean, I moved on to Captain America was a big guy for a long time. I
Right.
loved Captain America. I never loved Superman. I liked Superman, but I didn't love Superman. But it would have to be Spider-Man for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was Batman for me. It was, I was just that age when Batman came
Right.
out, the 89 Batman, I was like 8 years old, and it's like,
Uh,
wow, snuck into the theater because it was
Tim
sold
Burton. Right?
out. So, you know, um huge Batman fan when I was growing up. It was hard for me to get the comics though. We didn't have like a local comic shop.
Oh,
And
you
so we had
did?
like no, so we had like newsstand like here and there. And you'd get like issue 12, and then next month you'd have like issue 15 or something.
But
Like you
then
never.
I usually get my comics from 7-Eleven. They had the comic rack.
Yeah, that was probably
And
what it
that's
was
where
for
I would
me.
go. Yeah.
Yep. But it just used to make me mad because I couldn't get them in chronological order, and it used to make me so mad
Oh,
when I was a kid.
right? Oh my gosh. And then
Drove
you're
me
like,
crazy.
and then you hope you had a friend that was collecting them. So you get to
Right.
look at them, right? Yeah.
Yep. Do you remember the first comic book you ever read? Was it Spider-Man?
Uh my oldest memory, I don't know if it was Spider-Man, but it was an Avengers comic.
Ooh.
I remember Wanda and Vision. That's my oldest memory of but I couldn't tell you what my first comic was, but
Right.
think back to when I was a really young kid. I was like, "Who's this green dude with the yellow and red and what?" Like he's not okay. So he's red, but he's got like a green costume,
Right.
and and he's married to this woman who's like she looks human. Like it blew my mind. So that's why. And he was like
Okay.
phasing
Yeah.
through a wall. It's like
I am My goal this year, my New Year's resolution was I'm reading one Thor comic a day at least. So
wow.
I started with the Journey into Mysteries, right? So
Uh-huh.
I'm going to put all the books here as I finish them. So that's Journey into Mystery 83 to 100. So I
Uh-huh.
read like 104 last night. So I'm at 105 tonight. Um, but I'm really loving like the Avengers come in a little bit, and it's like Ant-Man and, Iron Man. I'm just loving these old stories, from the 60s.
I
Are just
I love I love the old story. There's an innocence to it. I don't know what it is.
right,
I think it's almost like because it's like the nobility of being a hero, right? And now and then comic books like they had to throw in these like characters of pathos or just like they were troubled and which I completely appreciate. Don't get me wrong, right? Because that's the human state, right? We all have our like demons and stuff like that. But yeah, there's that quaintness of the old comics that
man, it's so much fun. I mean, it's a little annoying with Don Blake, falling in love with Jade and not being able to profess his love, but whatever. Yeah,
well, I
Odin
remember
hopefully will.
the Thor with John like that when I was a kid and I saw so he's a doctor and he can
The
turn
lame Dr.
into
Don Blake.
right. And he turned into Thor. Like I was like, well, that's kind of cool. Cause like my first introduction of Thor was Avengers. Like
Right.
I didn't read Thor. I didn't follow Thor because I couldn't understand English. I honestly, the language was like, when I was young, I was like, what the hell are they saying? I
It
can't
is,
follow
yeah, the writing is very like, I caught myself last night
old
reading a
English or
word and
whatever.
I'm like, wait, what? What is that word?
Right. And I'm a little kid. I'm like, give me something I can understand.
Right.
I'll read Spider-Man,
The
because I'm,
good old
he's from
Stan
New York.
Lee,
I'm from New York. So yeah.
right? All right, what's your favorite current series that you read?
My favorite current series.
Obviously, it's Do Not Disturb.
Yeah. Yes. Moving on. Just kidding.
Yeah, or The Digger,
Oh, the
or
Tigger. Right.
Artillery,
Already Invader 10.
right?
Actually,
Anything from Invader Comics.
I'm looking forward to. I want to get the Parker series by Darwin Cook. I really want to check that out because I love film noir
Okay.
and it's got that noir. I love noir writing, so I haven't gotten it yet. I got it actually for Jared for Christmas. I got him The Hunter, so hopefully he'll like it. And then he could, you know, tell me if it's worth reading, which I'm sure it is.
Right. I'm sure.
So that's probably the book. Yeah, that's the series.
Awesome. All right. If you could live in any comic book universe, which one would it be?
Would I have the powers in that universe, or would I
Well,
just
the
be
next
living in that?
question is what superpower do you want? So sure, combine them.
Oh, okay.
So you get to
Well,
pick the
since we're on the
universe with the superpower.
Thor tip, right? Right. So why not be in Asgard, right? You know, but I'm
Dude,
and if
Asgard would be sweet.
and if I'm gonna have a superpower, uh oh, make maybe be an awesome chef in Asgard. I
Ooh,
love cooking.
you
I
need to
do love cooking.
read. There was a 5-issue run this last year of Doctor Strange in Asgard. And it was all about, Doctor Strange loses his Sorcerer Supreme to Doctor Doom. He was outcast to Asgard to try to become the Sorcerer Supreme of Asgard. And it's him navigating like the inner workings of like just the city of Asgard. It was really, I loved it because of that. It was just showing so much just outside of, Odin and Thor's
Right, right.
palace,
It's
right? It's
like
like you're in taverns and walking through the streets of Asgard itself and like
slumming
the
it with
problems.
the denizens of
Yeah,
Asgard.
it was really cool just to see that side of Asgard. It was really cool.
Well, you
So I
just
like
convinced me.
that.
I'm gonna open up a pizza shop in Asgard. There we go.
That's
I'll
that would
have
be
that
epic.
all the water is gonna be shipped from New York because we all
From
know
New
that
York.
New York
See,
water is what makes pizza great in New York.
right, just like the bagels. I had a New York bagel yesterday
Oh, you had?
because our neighbors went there from Long Island. They were up there
Uh-huh.
for the holidays and they came back and brought me a couple bagels.
What'd you think?
They're awesome, of course.
Yeah.
Like I used to live in upstate New York, so
Uh,
it was, so
pizza
all the food up there is
bagels.
better than here. So you can't get anything good here. So especially pizza and bagels.
Oh, pizza bagels. Yeah.
There are bagel places here locally though that will ship water from New York to here.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that. Oh, we get our water from New York. I don't
I
know
don't
if
know
it.
if I believe it, but
Yeah, I don't know if I
they
believe
say
it
it.
too, but in your mind, if you're thinking that, you'll
It makes
convince
the
me,
bagels
oh, this
taste
is much
better.
better. This tastes way better than what I would get here for
Right.
sure. Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. So did you pick a superpower?
Oh, well, I said that making like being a
Like
chef,
making
but like,
pizza is
but
well the
I think
chef, yeah.
you know what? No, but seriously, a superpower. Uh, I think though it'd be a lot of pressure to do good. I think like Jean Grey's power would be cool. I mean, like not Dark Phoenix, right? Because that was very destructive. But like, yeah, I'm like that would be pretty cool. At one point I thought like anything telekinetic would be an awesome power to have too, right?
Right.
Um, but yeah, why not? Right?
All right. A
Not
telekinetic
Wolverine. I
pizza
mean, I
shop
like
owner in
Wolverine.
Asgard. I love it.
He's a shop
That's
owner.
our next comic.
Okay. He's a
We need a
shop
one
owner.
shot. I need a panel Pete one shot of him, running a pizza shop in Asgard.
At
That's
Asgard. Yeah, it's because they
yep.
don't. I bet you they don't have a pizza shop in
I
Asgard.
did not see it in that book. So
No.
I'm reading Tales of Asgard. So at the end of each issue of Thor is a 5-page Tales of Asgard story. So last night's was like Hamdall's origin, like how he
Okay.
became the guardian of the Bifrost and stuff,
Uh,
and just different stories. So if a pizza shop shows up, I'll let you know.
well, I gotta imagine that the food probably isn't all that great. I don't know. Like, what did Vikings eat?
Yeah,
I
it's like
don't.
boar and fruit and
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
maybe you go to Renaissance Fair. It's like the turkey leg,
yeah,
but
the
like
turkey legs.
maybe.
Ask Volstagg, he would, he eats a lot of it.
But I bet you they have great ale. Like I would
Oh,
imagine for
I
sure.
can correct. Yes. All right. Now you get to pick a comic book's hero or sidekick that's your sidekick that's helping you run the pizza shop. in Asgard. I like
Oh,
how I've developed a story on this now.
right.
This is almost like, what's the book called? Fiasco, where it teaches you, like, you are an ad lib, fill in the blanks. We're creating a story by,
Okay. I never a fiasco. Uh, sidekick. Like, are they a sidekick as we know them,
no, they
or
can be
I'm
any
like
character.
they could be any
Yeah, it
character?
could be Batman as your sidekick, or it doesn't have to be a sidekick like Robin.
Okay, well, I don't want someone that's like dark and morose. I want someone that's like a little like I'd say Kurt Wagner, Nightcrawler.
Yeah,
He's cool, dude.
yeah, he is. He's
He
German
seems
too.
kind of yeah.
He can pop us over to Germany, get some good food.
Yeah, exactly. He can. You know what? He can take care of my deliveries
Yep, there you go. Oh, it's dude.
back and forth from New York with the water.
Bam, bam. I'm like delivering your pizzas like
It
that.
only makes
Like,
sense for sure.
oh,
Yeah, and you teaching me German.
see,
I mean, they probably speak
exactly.
German up in Asgard. Maybe I don't know. Maybe not.
Probably.
Uh,
Yeah, probably some. I went to Germany for a week just over a year ago, and it was phenomenal. I loved it. All right, it's the last one. If your life were a comic book, what would the title be? Now
let's
it's
do
going to
it.
be the Chronicles of Panel Pete in Asgard, but
Let's just do it. I would just say let's just do it.
let's just do it.
That's the name of it. Yeah. And it goes back to like, should I do this? Should I do that? I don't know if I have the skills. I don't know if the stamina. Just do it. Just do it. I
Like,
mean,
how
it's a
long?
lame title for a comic, but I mean, it's the only thing I could think of, and I think that it's apropos
But it
to
it
talk
makes
about.
sense. And like the first book you and Jared did together, or the first one you did on your own, right, was a graphic
Yeah,
novel,
yeah, it
right?
was
Like, how long did that take you? Because I mean, you
took
have
a
a day
while.
job, right? Like,
Yeah, I have a day job, and that's another thing. Like, so it took a long time. I couldn't even at some point, and I never really finished it, so I might revisit it maybe sometime in the future. I don't know when I'm going to have the time to do it,
right.
but yeah, it. I don't know if that did we answer that? I
Well,
think we did.
kind of. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
one of those things. Just do it, and
yeah.
I tell people all the time, you go back and look on, YouTube here on my channel. It's like you look at episode 1, it's a lot different than episode 80, and
They're
I
going to be a lot
love the
different.
progression.
It's going to progress to something even. You're in a studio, like who knows? I mean,
Right.
the sky's the limit. And that was the last question, right? Because I was
Yeah.
going to ask the question. What's okay? I'm going to throw this at you. What would if Panel Pete was doing a comic book? What would his comic book be?
Well, he kind of did one. He's doing this one, but the next one you want the insider on what the next one's going to be is what you want.
Yeah. What is the
So
insight?
the next, I have two. So one is the beautiful, and I already said this, but the beautiful part about Panel Piece, he can be in any time period, right? So I love one of my favorite current series is the Deadly Tales of the Gunslinger
Okay.
by Spawn, right? Because it's a Western, right? It's not like the Gunslinger Spawn series that's kind of modern.
Uh-huh.
He's riding a motorcycle. This is like a traditional Western story. So, like, I
Cool.
would love to him to be in a Western. That's an idea. That's just an idea at the moment. There's no real thought process there. The next issue I'm gonna do though will be like the origin story,
Huh?
and it'll be like so far it was really cool because my artist messaged me one day and he was like, we got to the page where where Billy, the kid in the story, is at the comic shop and he's looking through the comic box and he's pulling the book out to buy. And he's like, what's on the cover? And I was like, uh-oh, what is on the cover? What is the cover of what is the name of that book? Right? That Panel Pete lives in. So now I had to think about it. I'm like, well, it'd have to be his origin story, right?
Uh-huh.
So I was like, let's think medieval, like sorcerer or wizard or like Lord of the Rings, like Gandalf kind of fighting a big dragon or something.
Yeah.
And it would basically like the wizard's bad day or something like that, where he's like trying to do all these spells, he's trying to learn, and he accidentally creates Panel Pete in a sorcerer book. right? So
Okay.
that's going to be the origin story of how Panel Pete comes into existence is a wizard's having a bad day and screws up and accidentally creates him.
So that's interesting because like so when you created Panel Pete, you didn't really have a backstory for him yet, right? You
I
just
had
like
nothing.
so
I had I wanted a mascot. That was my North Star, my directive of I struggled with this in the past in other businesses that I did. I had a publishing company for a while where I published books, and at one time I had 20 authors, published over 50 books, novels, right? And some kids' books. Never dreamed I'd write a book 20 years later, 15 years later, but here I am. And my wife has written 5 or 6, 7 books, so we published her books as
oh
well.
cool. No.
And she has a whole series like she's working on, like a sci-fi fantasy series. And so, but it was a publishing company. I didn't have a mascot. So then I turned that into a game store, hobby shop, and kind of did both for a while. And then it kind of just merged into just gaming for a long time. And I had, tables and chairs. People came in, played games, and, worked all hours and tried to do like a D20 mascot with a face on it. Didn't really happen. But it's like all all good brands have a mascot. McDonald's has Ronald McDonald, Chick-fil-A has the cow, like every major brand has a mascot. And I always wanted a mascot. So that was basically like, all right, how do I come up with a mascot for the podcast? And that's where
Yeah.
Panel Pete came. Never thought he'd be in a comic book at that time. It was probably really shortly after that. I was like, oh, I'm going to write a comic. Well, guess what? I'm going to use Panel Pete in the
Panel
comic,
Pete, right? Because you already had the
right?
mask. Why not? Let's
Because I
get
have
to
a
know a little more
mascot.
about
Now
yeah, yeah.
it's part of it.
Right.
Um, it really was just born to be a mascot first, and now he's now in a comic book, and now he's going to be in multiple comic books, hopefully. So issue 2 is going to be not really issue 2, but the next issue I do will be the origin story.
Gotcha.
And then I have a idea. I've been I really hate to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. So I had TS on Luther we did an episode, the three of us, and then I brought him back like on his final order cutoff day. I brought him
Yeah.
back on an episode with Annika and I just to pop in. He popped in for like 10 minutes, right? When Annika and I were recording. And he made some comment and he called it 10-cent Pete. Is the name, like, I don't know where it came from, but he called him 10-cent Pete because we were talking about selling books, and I was like, I hope I sell one. He's like, you'll sell 10-cent Pete, and I'm like, 10-cent Pete, what? Who is this? And then I started dwelling on 10-cent Pete for a while. So now I want, and I'm going to talk to him. I haven't talked to him yet about it, but I want him to write 10-cent Pete set in like a Dick Tracy 1940s type
Oh
noir story.
wow.
And the title will be
Totally.
10-cent Pete. I don't know
Totally.
what it's
Yeah.
going to be, but I want TS to write it. And I got to figure out how to pay him for that. But
It's got a great ring to just the name 10-cent Pete,
right?
right? Like dime store. It's like
Right.
it's like why? Because it's like a dime store novel. It's a noir dime store novel. 10-cent
Exactly.
Pete. Yeah, that sounds cool.
So that's going to be the third. That's going to be another one that I'm going to work on. And that'll be a comic or something out of that. And I'm going to
When are you
talk
gonna
about.
find a time to do this?
I have
Sounds like a
no
lot.
idea. Plus, I have a day job, and
And you have a
you
day
know,
job, right?
hopefully, I can get this enough to where I don't have the day job. We'll see, but
Hey,
or scale back the day
you're
job.
well on your way, right? I mean,
I am. I have to remind myself. I follow. What Gary V is.
no.
And so Gary V is like a motivational marketing guy out of
Uh,
New York City. His dad, is an immigrant, opened a wine shop, sold wine, the wine library, and he just kind of took off and
uh,
made videos, and now he runs Vayner Media Group out in New York City, but he's very motivational, cusses like a sailor. But I watch a lot of his stuff, and he's very motivational, like just do it, that kind of, the same stuff we talk about. And but he's always motivated me to do my keep going, just keep going. You're only 9 months in, 10 months in, right? Like we're literally 10 months into doing this, and
Right.
we've done 80 episodes. We got a few followers here and there, and I mean, it's growing,
I think AJ, it's about being like committed to like whereas a lot of people just kind of give up. I heard something about some podcasts of some statistic that people that usually do it like a majority of people that create a podcast don't go past the third one,
Right.
right? And they
They
maybe
say an
just have
episode
content for the
they say
like
I've
five
heard
ep-
that. 5
yeah.
episodes, like, if a podcast reaches 20 plus episodes, it's, like, in the top 10% of podcasts,
And then that's a milestone right there.
Right.
You made it a major accomplishment right there. That alone. So that you're continuing to do this and getting more followers and more subscribers and just being it's you're a personable guy, right?
Yeah,
Like
I try.
people
I'm
can
very
connect.
extroverted, and this really
Uh
so when I sold my store in 2016, it was just a perfect storm. Somebody wanted to buy it. I was spending too much time with I have my oldest daughter. She got into golf, and I put her in a golf academy, and I was taking her to play golf all the time and practicing with her because I enjoy playing golf too here and there. And I was spending way too much time on the golf course with her and not enough time at the store. And my wife hated running the store. So then I had somebody who wanted to buy it. I sold it. Was able to live on the money for like 4 years to spend that with my daughter on the golf course for 4 years,
oh, that
all
sounds
through high school. Right. So
right.
every day I would drop her off. I'd go pick her up at noon. We'd go to the golf course. We'd, practice. We'd go to matches, we'd whatever. It was great. Um, and then, she graduated and moved on from doing that, right? And then I had a few day jobs here and there, different things, and I was helping the golf academy out, and that's my day job now, is I still work for them 9 years later. But I was struggling. I'd also turned my store when I sold it. I didn't sell the accessory part. I kept my gaming accessories that I was creating, and I'd go to game conventions and sell that stuff. Well, then COVID hit, and I was like literally on my way to a convention in Chicago and
Uh,
was going to do a convention a month that year. And COVID hit and shut all the conventions down. So I lost all motivation and, momentum and everything. And then the last couple years, I've been really struggling with, I've got to find something of my own to do again. Right.
uh,
Because the day job's we got bought out. It's become very corporate, very, just not my thing anymore.
uh, yeah.
My boss will hear this, I'm sure. Um, but I don't care. Um, I'm sure he watches every one of my episodes.
Right. You're in
My
trouble.
other, my day job podcast, we started in January. 1 year ago, we've done 21 episodes, and in 9 months, I've done 80 episodes of this. I I don't know. I just like to learn, and that's how I learn by doing. So I'm learning it. But what this podcast has done is it's filled that niche of
Uh,
needing something to do on my own. And I'm extroverted, so I'm getting to meet more people, have these awesome conversations. And it's really been motivating and helping me, just mentally, right? Just
right.
my
And
mental
in a
health.
lot of ways, it's like you're paying it forward, right? So like
Right.
you talking to me is helping in a creator like me and Jared and like and and hopefully we'll be able to help other people too. So it's a communal thing. Everybody
Right.
just kind of talking and sharing and finding what we have in common.
Right. And I love the fact that, yes, I'm still small, which is fine. I'm 10 months in. Like, it's going to take a while. It's fine. It's
Mm,
just got to keep going. But I can't wait till the time where I can have somebody on and it makes a little bit of a measurable impact, right? Like, in some ways, I almost feel bad because I feel like some of these people that come on, like, I mean, obviously, Stephanie Phillips, we got to interview her. My daughter and I, that did nothing for her coming
mhm.
on my show, right? But I mean, it did wonders for me and my daughter, right? But it was just awesome to be able to do things like that. And I can't wait until we're able to give back to the community in that way, right? To where it
Right,
does a measurable difference in somebody's life. Like, just like my artist paying it forward with bringing in another artist, right? To
right.
do the next book. What that's going to mean to that person to have a paid gig, right? where they
Yes.
would not have had it before.
Right.
So
I love that. That's fantastic. I think it's because it's altruistic, right? It's like thinking about not just yourself, but other people, how you could help them
and
achieve
that's
their
a
goal.
Gary Vee thing, right? It's like it's not what you get from it, it's what you're giving back to that
Right.
person, right? And that's the way
You're
I want
right.
to try to look at it is
Yeah.
I'm getting the time with my daughter. That's what I'm getting
Mhm.
mostly, right? It's the time spent with my daughter doing this and the collecting and the what we get to bond over, but I want to give back to the creators and learning and sharing. Like the episode coming out tomorrow, like if people watch it, they will learn so much.
Mhm.
She dropped so many like marketing nuggets, right? Like in that hour and a half, like you just gotta watch it. I had
Right.
Gamal Hennessy, who's a comic book lawyer. He's an
Mhm.
entertainment lawyer. Same thing. You would have to pay hundreds of dollars to a lawyer to get the information that he dropped on my podcast. Like, it's insane.
That's Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, like, think about it, like if people watch your podcast, they're going to pick up nuggets here and there that's going to benefit them,
And it's
right?
going to benefit them. And that's what
And
I
then
love is
they'll
being able
pass
to,
along and share it with somebody else,
right.
and kumbaya, we're all in it
Kumbaya.
together.
I love that. Well, this has been fantastic. And I
I
really
enjoyed it a
appreciate
lot.
you being
Hey,
on.
yeah, I enjoyed this, man. It was great
This
talking. Man.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We got to hang out for a couple more minutes after I stop recording, but I really do
Okay,
appreciate you being on and glad Jared had the idea of sending the email to let me know that, to have you on. And I
yeah.
can't wait for Do Not Disturb to come out. Where else can people get your books?
You get it on any local comic shop. I mean, but the thing is, please, if you're watching this and you want to check out our book, go to your comic shop and say, hey, do you have Do Not Disturb? I'd really like to order it. Because right now, that's what's keeping us going. Maybe at some point we'll have a paperback, which is what we're going to do eventually.
Right.
But for now, we got 4 issues. Number 1's coming out this month. And then we got 2, 3, and 4 in the future. Let's do it. Like, just say, I'm looking for Do Not Disturb and all the other Invader titles, right?
That's
Let's
right.
do it. Let's get Artillery, Digger. Let's get them in comic book
Let's
shop.
get Invader out there. We love Invader.
Invader, we love Invader. And I want another shout out to Fanbase Press. They've supported me through the years. They've connected me with interesting people. Blue Fox Comics. I just want to give them a shout out because they've always been and they're another community where they help creators and it's all about helping people, right? If we could help each other, then that's great. That's that.
What was the first one? Fan Art Press?
Fanbase Press.
Fanbase Press.
Yes.
I will
They
check
are
them
awesome.
out.
And they
I
hit
did
all
check
the
Blue Ox
mentions.
out. I didn't buy it yet, but it's on my list. Your other book you guys did through Blue Ox, so
awesome.
I'm gonna
Thank
get
you,
it.
AJ.
Hey, thank you, man. I really
All the
appreciate
best
it.
to you and your family.
Hey, comic creators, artists, writers, world builders, this is your call to action. Here at Talking Comics, we love diving into the stories behind the stories. Whether you're just starting out or you've been in the game for years, we want to hear your journey, your creative process, and what fuels your imagination. So, ready to talk comics with us? Message us or hit the link in our bio and be a guest on Talking Comics. Trying to start a podcast but feeling stuck? At Aquadio, we help creators make waves with everything you need to bring your voice to life. Hosting, recording, editing, and marketing. Whether you're starting from scratch or just need a little help polishing your sound, we're here to hydropower your creativity. Comment on this video or DM us today and let's dive in.